from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I am forecaster John Bordash with you in the Storm Center for kind of a surprise morning live stream. Before we get too underway, let me know if you can hear me in the comments. I like to make sure that we're good to go on that front before I start going into all of the good details and the stuff you all want to know. While I wait for that, assuming you can hear me, we do now have a tornado watch in effect for our entire coverage zone. This is going to be in effect till 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I see people say they can hear me. Thank you for that. So we've been tracking this potential for severe weather across the region over the last few days. Yesterday, we saw this elevated risk of severe weather get issued for our region. We were monitoring for that potential for severe storms throughout the afternoon and evening, and this threat really does begin right around lunchtime today. So we're probably less than 6 or 5 hours out from seeing severe weather begin to move into the region. We were expecting some sort of severe thunderstorm or tornado watch to get issued for our region, and the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center has already gone ahead and issued this tornado watch in effect for every county shaded in red. This includes all of Southern Maryland, and this includes parts of Virginia as well. I want to take you on over to current radar. This really does spell out the story here for you. Let me bring it to where we are right now. Okay, everywhere in red. That's that tornado watch till 2 o'clock. You see this area of rain back to the west. That's going to be our cold front, and that's going to very slowly move through the region throughout the afternoon and evening. Rain really does look likely across our area from about lunchtime, right around 11 or 12 o'clock, until about midnight or 1, 2 a.m. So much of this afternoon and evening will be the time to watch for this to move through. And we actually already have some tornado warnings getting issued down here across southern parts of Virginia in the Roanoke and Lynchburg areas. These are going to be the storms that directly move towards us here over the next few hours. So I'm not saying that to say that these storms will hold together and these exact storms will be the tornado warned storms that move in. That isn't the case. And we aren't under a tornado warning right now in Southern Maryland. It's a watch. And if we need a reminder of what that means, now there's the graphic in the corner there. We're under that watch. We have all the ingredients on the table to potentially make a tornado or to make a taco, if you will. Meats on the table, tortillas, all this stuff, but we don't actually have a taco yet. We don't have a tornado yet in our region. If we get warnings issued, which would be possible really between about, let's call it 11 and 3 o'clock this afternoon as this initial round moves through, if we get that warning issued, that means we have an active tornado likely or very close to being on the ground. Let me come right back on over here towards radar, though. And if we put this into motion here over the last hour, we can see where these storms currently are and how they're going to be working their way here to the east. And you can see that motion here with the storms. Let me bring you on over here to Futurecast. Let's time this out here for you. So this is Futurecast at 8 o'clock. It shows that rain beginning to work its way here towards the east. And we can see that this first round, we're likely to see a couple of rounds of storms. This first round of storms, you can see, begins to enter into central Virginia by about 11 o'clock. You can see that line then push here into southern Maryland with a few of those discrete thunderstorms that are embedded within that line, moving through between 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Behind that, maybe another line of thunderstorms pushes through between 3, 4, and 5 o'clock. And then we might get into a little bit of a break this afternoon before our next line. You can see that back out to the west at 8 and 9 o'clock works its way to the east. So we have a few rounds of thunderstorms here that are going to be pushing through the region. And then we're going to see that begin to push into the region as we head towards midnight. So we have a very active day on tap. That tornado watch is in effect, an elevated risk of severe thunderstorms. While we have the tornado watch, that tornado threat is definitely growing. I would also still say that the risk of just plain damaging winds is high. We could see some hail today as well. And we have an elevated flash flooding risk across the area as well. So here's a look at that impact timeline for you. I really do think anytime after lunchtime is going to be fair game for rain and for storms. Weak spin-ups are going to be possible, and we might actually need to move that tornado timeline up a little bit to really focus here between about 12 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. The elevated risk of flash flooding is in effect, so this is a little different than that severe thunderstorm elevated risk. on the severe thunderstorm risk. And I know this gets very nuanced and very detailed. There are 5 categories with flash flooding. We're talking 4, so to be at a level 2 out of 4 is different than 2 out of 5, so it's a lot more substantial. And with that, we're talking about a flood watch. That's going to be in effect until 11 o'clock this evening. And that threat of flooding, while it's the highest in those green shaded areas to our north and west, we will be tracking this potential for flooding really across the region here as we head through the evening. I think everyone has the chance to see the potential for flooding. I do want to take you back on over here towards radar, though I am continuing to track these storms. Again, these tornado warnings down here towards the Roanoke area. I saw a question about how fast these storms are moving. They're not moving super fast, only at about 20, 30, 35 miles an hour as they work their way east, northeast. So these storms still have about 5 hours till they get to us. So we're under the watch now. And this is to give you that heads up early in the morning. Stay weather aware around midday today, because if this was issued at, let's say, 11 o'clock, that gives you very little lead time. The Storm Prediction Center is giving you plenty of lead time this morning to prepare for these storms to move on through this afternoon. These likely won't push in for the next 5 or 6 hours, closer to lunchtime. So there is not an imminent threat right now. I don't think we're talking severe weather or tornadoes over the next 3, 4, or 5 hours. Thankfully, you have time to start thinking, okay, if a tornado warning gets issued, what am I going to do? And I do have a graphic here. And these are the things I want you to start thinking about. So no tornado warnings right now, but these are the things I want you to start thinking about if a warning gets issued later on this afternoon or evening. You're going to want to move indoors to a substantial shelter. What is that for you? A mobile home is not going to be okay if there were to be a tornado warning issued. So in that event, you need to find a substantial structure that has a foundation. Otherwise, you're going to be prone to have a mobile home or a shed potentially just get tossed up into the air. The lowest level of your home, business, or building, where is that? How low can you get? Is there a basement? Is there a first floor you can go into? An interior room? What is that for you? Is that just a bathroom in the middle of your house? Is that a closet? Is that a hallway? That's going to be something we need to be monitoring and keeping in mind. These are all the things you want to start planning now, so when that warning gets issued, if we get a warning issued, which there isn't a guarantee, but if it were to get issued, where are you going to go? What are you going to do if this were to be the case? And then think of the things you would bring with you in that type of a situation. Does your purse come with you? It should. And then if you have safety concerns, we want to be bringing potentially a mattress with you, a helmet, something to protect you if there were to be flying debris in an actual tornado on the ground. But bringing you back on over here, we have no active tornado warnings right now. This is just a tornado watch. All the counties in red. This includes Calvert, Anne Arundel, PG, Charles, St. Mary's, King George, Westmoreland counties here. This goes until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And again, we're talking a couple of tornadoes could be possible with this. So no warnings right now, and there's not even a guarantee we will see tornado warnings in our region. Right now, the highest tornado threat is out here across southern parts of Virginia near Roanoke and Lynchburg. This is well away from our region. If we were to measure this, how far away these storms are, so let's just take where these storms are. They are still a good almost 200 miles away from us. So we'll see if they do indeed hold together, but we have plenty of time to watch these as they come on through. Susie wants to know if I think this could be extended past 2 o'clock, and that potential is there. Granted, our highest severe weather risk is going to be with this initial wave that moves through. We're warm, we're humid out there this morning. That's allowing for storm energy to begin to bubble up in the atmosphere. These storms will utilize that storm energy as they move on in. But once that storm energy gets used, it'll leave very little behind it. So we'll have additional rounds of rain pushed through. They likely won't be as severe as this initial push. The best severe weather dynamics, ingredients, factors are going to be present when that initial line moves through. Behind this, we'll see if the atmosphere can recover quick enough. If we can then break out into additional sunshine later on this afternoon, then maybe we could be talking about an extension of this watch. But right now, I think that this call until 2 o'clock is definitely warranted. Yeah, and Holly, mentioning that kids are going to be in school around this time. And yeah, so do I think we could be talking about early dismissals? That's a very new phenomenon. When I was in school, which in the grand scheme wasn't that long ago, there really weren't early dismissals or school closings for severe weather in our region. They do that down in Alabama where they track EF5 tornadoes. I don't think that's going to be a concern for us, and I don't think schools will need to early dismiss today, because if they were to early dismiss today, let's see, your school normally closes at 2, so they dismiss 2 hours early, 12, that puts you right in the middle of all of this. So schools are probably one of the best places for students to be in this type of a situation, which I know, given this week's events, feels very weird to say that the school's the best place for this were to happen. But these schools are plenty of areas that don't have exterior walls. They have firm foundations. So if we do indeed were to see a tornado push on through, I think everything's going up. They should be fine in that type of a situation. In San Bassine, Queen Anne's County, over there on the eastern shore, already has an early dismissal, and that 1 o'clock timing makes me nervous because, as we just saw in Futurecast, these storms likely push through between about 12 and 2 o'clock. How strong are the winds expected to be? If I come back on over here, we're talking upwards of 55 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts in general being possible, but localized higher wind gusts could definitely be possible, especially in a tornadic storm. Mark wants to know about hail up to quarter size. I think is going to be the threat today. So stay tuned. A lot of these questions are all answered over on the website. Go to that link that is in this description. I know a lot of people are resistant to going to the website, but I promise you 98% of your questions are answered. There's a Futurecast on there that you can play around with. I have the latest watch details up over there, and I'll be here in the Storm Center. I just got back from the gym, hence my kind of lackluster attire, but I'll be with you throughout the afternoon and really all day to continue to track this. I'm currently working on some coffee and eggs, so I'm going to go get back to that. I didn't think this watch would get issued as early as it did, but I'm going to finish eating, I'm going to go take a shower, and then we'll be back here tracking everything with you throughout the day. So stay tuned, have a way to get weather warnings, and stay tuned to JB Weather throughout your social media feeds, facebook.com/JBWeatherLLC, Twitter @JB_weather. Those are the 2 best social media platforms. Any watch or warning information automatically gets pushed to those platforms. So stay tuned. I'll continue to keep you updated. If you're going to be at work or at school and you can't access Facebook or Twitter on those servers, go to jbweather.net. This live stream, and I can show you quickly, is right now being simulcast over to the over to the website. So let me show you that, then we'll go ahead and go so you can see this. Because I know a lot of people, you're not yet at school or at work, so go to jbweather.net. This will come up. You see the all the latest posts, radars right here. You can come over here to radar, get a bigger view of this, look at Futurecast. But if you come over here to live, right here, it says offline, it just has to render. You will see this broadcast as it loads. I think it takes a moment. There we go. There I am. Hello, website. So you can get these live streams on the website as well if you can't access social media, or on YouTube as well. So stay tuned, stay with us, and I'll continue to keep you updated. Again, we have that tornado watch in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Stay weather aware, have a way to get warnings, and know what to do if a warning were to get issued. We'll talk again soon.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.